Alright, welcome to the Saber order. In this video, I'm going to be reviewing the Kylo Ren Proffie Neopixel Lightsaber from the Pach Store. For about $600, this is probably one of the most accurate replicas on the market. It is not a weathered version of the saber, though on Ultimate Works they do offer a weathering service for another like 50 bucks. But in this video, I will be reviewing just the Proffie installed regular hilt. So starting off with the hilt itself, here's the replica design. It has all the internal parts, the wire, and the crystal chamber that I'll show later. And it also has its little retention points right here where you can screw in not only the blade plugs, but also obviously the blades. So the saber obviously comes with all the accessories you're going to need, like a charging cord and all that, but it's going to come with 2 retention screws. That's so you can put the smaller blades in the vents and the main plate as well. And then of course you're going to get a custom saber stand from the Pach Store, which I think is one of the best additions. You're going to get an acrylic stand. There is no instructions of how to assemble it. So I guess if you were trying to assemble it and you are watching this video, just go ahead and give it your best look. You kind of just got to wing it. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get the 2 retention screws and pop the blades in, just show it off real quick. All right, once you get all the blades in, you're going to have 2 buttons. You're going to have the auxiliary button hidden on the back for activation. And then you're going to have the one in the very front hidden under the blade. Then your blade will go ahead and activate it. And you have your crystal chamber down here, and you have your light up down here. This thing should ship with charge, so you can do this right when you unbox it. I'm going to go ahead and go to the next section, go with the up close with the hilt and all the accessories and the Proffie cord. All right, so here's the Kylo Ren lightsaber up close. You have a translucent wire right here that actually does run through these bits. You can take the wire out of here and it has a little hole. Same thing with the bottom. You do fit the wire right into the bottom so it stays in place and it does move around, so I think that's super cool. You have a belt clip right here. There are clips you can buy out there. Obviously it doesn't come with one, but it is the same dimensions as other ones, even the Disney one. Up here you have your heated vents. Very nice design. I know some try to enhance the blues, but I think this is still, it's not just painted on. I think it looks very good. And of course your internals. It's not just some blocky internals like Legacy that are like spray painted and all that. They look true machines, like this thing would actually work, and it's the very same towards the bottom. So this thing's disassembly. There's not very much. They try to keep it very minimal, but you can go ahead and, well, actually first you got to take the wire out of the bottom, and then you can go and twist it to the side like this. Then you can go ahead and unscrew, I guess, the pommel portion right here. All right, and then you're gonna have this piece right here. Then between you're gonna have, this is your little LED strip piece, and this is actually how you can pull out the battery area, and your USB-C charging is gonna be right down here. The cable's included, so you should actually not ever need to pull out this area. So I'm not 100% sure if this option does come with a pre-kit, but this is the normal Proffie / astaria cord that Ultimate Works will sell to install with pre-kits. It is not the same. The battery and the chassis is about half the size, so if there is an option, I would definitely not go with that. And don't try to, I guess, install ones you already have into the saber. Just leave it as is. The only thing you can swap is a little SD card, but all the Ultimate Works fonts will come with the same thing. So once your thing is charged, you can go and screw this bit back in. I wish there was like a little hole or point where you didn't just have to kind of grip the outside as much as you can, but it is what it is. And then you can go and fit the wire into any of those little, I guess, oval areas to keep it secure. All right, got that back in, and once it's charged up, as it should when it ships anyway, go and activate it. And then right here, so here's my favorite part. So you have your crystal chamber. I don't know how well it shows in camera, but you can kind of tell there is a crystal in there. And at the bottom, there's an LED strip that does light up your bottom bit, which is probably the most unique part about the saber, is the lighting there. And then you have your blade plugs, which you can remove with your retention tools, and I think it does a great job making this look like a real lightsaber. Let me go and deactivate this really quick. So it's going to come with 2 retention tools. One of them, just go ahead and get these out of here. And then one of them, right here, we'll get the main blade / blade plug out. Then you're gonna have empty connector points. You definitely don't wanna break any of those little tines down there. If you do, your saber should work, but if you break too many, it might not. Then once you got all those removed, you can go and set those to the side. I'd probably keep them in a safe space. And then right here is your crystal reveal chamber. So as I said, you can take the wire out of that point in the top, and then you're gonna wanna set it to the side. And then there's gonna be 3 points. There's gonna be a point right here, right here, right here, and then you can use your larger retention tool to loosen all 3 up and then bring the bit down. And then you can go and pull this wire. I'd probably pull it through the next 2 stages. Then you get to the bottom. All right, so I just go ahead and remove all the screws. It makes it definitely easier. And then you should be able to pull this assembly straight down. And this is something you're paying for with Ultimate Works. Ultimate Works does a great job with detailing. They never really miss a detail. They always go for 100% screen accuracy. And for the price, it is kind of crazy that you can get stuff like this. You get pure display value. It's a 360 full detailed and molded internal. And then a closer look at the crystal chamber when you go and activate it. You can really see it down there. And this is same for the body. You can see the light, though there's no more disassembly for that. But the Saber does look good. You can prop it up on the stand like this to make it seem exposed. To get it back up, you kind of just mess with it, fidget around, go in and get it back to the top. And then first, before you thread the wire, I would go ahead and get your main retention screw and put the screws in all 3 points until there's no wiggle at all, just so the handling, doesn't mess around with the bolts. And then you can go ahead and thread the wire through these 2 and then into that hole. I don't know if you can see, yep, right here, to get the Saber back into its main state. All right, so the Saber's back in full. If you want to go and pop the blade plugs back in, you definitely do want to screw those in so they don't just fall out. Not too tight, but just so it's sure. I'm gonna go and pop the blades in now and go and do all the technology, show the blade igniting and everything, which is probably why you clicked on this video anyway. All right, so I got the blades popped back in, and one of the first things I will say about the Saber is it has unmolded blades, unlike a lot of other Kylo Ren variants, at least that I've seen. We do have a video on this channel of another Kylo Ren lightsaber from Ally Sabers, which that's a Neopixel with the molded blades. I think that's up to preference, but I do like these because when you do use other fonts, it's just, it's going to look more normal instead of like an unstable vent. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get started to igniting it. First thing you can do is use the regular activation button. That's going to be on the more crippled side of the Saber. Then go and activate it. The staggered audio is kind of 50-50 which turns it on, so that is one weird thing about the programming. Then you can go deactivate it with the same button. And then you can go ahead and use the gesture controls. So if you decide to spin the Saber, if it's already been activated, you can go and use the gesture controls to activate it and then deactivate it the same way. Then one other way is the swing activation. And again, most of the Proffies will have this, but here you go. There you go. And that's one of the more fun ways to do it if you're kind of doing a swing session or whatever you want to do with the Saber. Then go and deactivate it. On the back, you can go and switch fonts.
I'll show you.
It's going to be preloaded with 2 Kylo Ren fonts. One of them is going to be the normal color, and then one I can just change into whatever color I want. So I have the audio, but on a blue lightsaber. I'm going to go ahead and cycle through all the fonts and show you the blaster effects and clashing effects you can do with the Proffie. So here's the Luke lightsaber font, and here's the smooth swing right here. One thing about Proffie smooth swing is it's really not going to miss a move. And it does a great job not only following you, but even following the velocity and being able to repeat that, I guess, with the speaker itself. So that's one thing about Proffie. It is next to Crystal Effect or Crystal Focus 10 as the most accurate smooth swing in a lightsaber you can get. Some of the other blade effects when it is on is if you use the auxiliary switch, which is the one opposite to your activation. You can get blaster effects, and then if you hold it down and then slam it, you can get the clash effect. You can also get a tip drag if you do that facing the ground. On the font, it's not really showing, but it will light up red right by the tip. Next, we have a Luke font right here. And one thing also with all these fonts, it's programmed to have kind of a white flash that activate to the end, which I think is also very cool and very screen accurate. The Ahsoka font. This is one of the non-canon fonts that come with the Saber. I think the one and only. The Saber will come with around 10 fonts. Got a non-unstable Sith font. And of course you got a dark Saber. Last we got Mace Windu's font. Obviously a classic. And one thing about all these fonts is if you hold the auxiliary switch and just twist the blade, you can change these into any color you want. So there is definitely customization with the 10 fonts, and there is more font banks if you wanted to add to the 10 that it comes with. So next I'm gonna go ahead and get to the swing test. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and just demonstrate the smooth swing and the handling of the Saber. It is definitely a bigger hilt, and that is a screen accuracy. It's not just a chunky design like the legacy lightsabers. but I would recommend definitely just holding it towards the top area. This section, if you are comfortable holding it, it is a little bit more skinny for you to grip, but with just a heavy blade that's coming out the top, you do want to kind of hold it around this section, though it is not the optimal saber to be swinging with. Alright, so overall, the saber is very fun to swing, but when you get a crossguard hilt and a very chunky hilt, it is probably not going to be your main swinging saber or whatnot, but nonetheless, it's very fun to wield and a very unique saber, so learning the crossguard style will definitely be something I have to learn and get better at. But overall, definitely still a fun hilt to swing. But even though it's still a chunky saber, at least it's not like a legacy or anything, where those get super bulky. This is about as thick as it actually would be in the movies, so it's not unrealistic to use. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and get to my final thoughts. Alright, overall, this Kylo Ren hilt with the crystal chamber reveal, for about $600 if you didn't want a blade, and closer to $700 if you want a blade. It's definitely on the pricey side, but what you're looking at here is more than just kind of a Neopixel or Xenopixel lightsaber, buying it for the technology. You're buying this for the Replica hilt, probably one of the most accurate Kylo Ren hilts out there. There isn't very many. You probably could get like $1,000 one on Corban, but you got the super screen accuracy with, I guess, the 3D construction internals of the lightsaber, and then you also got your side blades and main blade programmed into the Neopixel Crossguard and all that. So you are getting a lot more than a standard saber when you buy the saber. Well, if you like these reviews, we have a ton more on the channel and more coming. We do try to post twice a month, so be sure to stay tuned, like, subscribe if you like these videos, and if you want to comment, you can go and check out our Twitter, TikTok, or just below in our comment section. Anyways, peace.